Welcome to the Fulfilled Musicpreneur Podcast. This podcast is for you if you are a Christian artist and you want to grow your listeners, make greater impact, and grow your business. Meet your host, A.B. Ogini, a lifelong singer, pediatrician, recording artist, music business coach, and founder of the Fulfilled Musicpreneur Academy.
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year and welcome to the first episode of the previously Fulfilled Musicpreneur Podcast, now the Monetize Your Music Podcast. I'm your host, A.B. Ogini, and I have the amazing privilege to have here with me today, David Griffith. Say hello.
Hello.
All right, so I am going to do another live on goal setting because I think everyone is talking about goal setting. And hey, it's the beginning of 2025, and I have some thoughts to share about that. But I decided to just, I'm actually just throwing the usual out of the window this year and going for it because sometimes you just need to go spontaneous and be spontaneous. And I think you get more things done that way, especially because my life is very full. So I was like, I'm just going to go live while recording this episode because someone may hear this and be blessed. So let me just take a minute rather to introduce David. So David Griffith approached. Ooh. Okay, are we back?
Yes.
Good. Okay, so David approached me on this platform where we get matched to podcast guests, and he was like, "Hey, this is what I do. I think I will have amazing value to share with your audience because I have managed to grow my audience to 1.2 million at my age." And I'm like, actually, that's I mean, I'm young. I have probably a lot more time than you do, and I'm not managed to do that. So I would love to just have a conversation about content strategy and growing our audiences. And I know that as artists, we love what we do, but we also want people to hear what we do. And one way to do that is to create content so people know what you do. They can hear this amazing music that you're producing, and they can hopefully like you and follow you for more content. Okay? But then something I love, which I preach about, which is why I've now changed this to Monetize Your Music Podcast, is how can we bring these amazing followers who like our music and like our message, how can we get them off Facebook? Because we all know we don't like Facebook. We don't own Facebook, right? There are so many other platforms that blew up and then shut down because life happens, things move on, and much more platforms keep popping up every time you close your eyes and open your eyes. So I would also love us to talk about how to get people off Facebook and off social media onto your email list and to monetize them, right? So first of all, David, thank you so much for joining us. Do you want to go ahead and just introduce yourself and tell us why you are so passionate about content creation?
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to speak with your audience. I am David, the digital creator, otherwise known as David Griffiths, and I have been passionate about ministry and connecting with people. And so the opportunity to use social media as a vehicle to connect with a broader audience was something that was very interesting to me and I was curious about. But for 13 years, I was on YouTube and I didn't have but just a little over 100 followers. So I realized there was something that I was missing. Like I had the heart, the passion. I enjoy videography, editing videos and photography. I enjoy writing. I'm a songwriter. I enjoy speaking. I'm a public speaker, but I was missing something because people weren't following. So I had the experience of discovering and having a mentor through the platform of TikTok, how maybe my thinking was wrong for those 13 years. And that was keeping me from the success that I desired as a gospel musician and as a content creator.
Wow. Okay. So it's okay to, first of all, realize that you're missing something.
Yes.
And get help. Get help, because you are also mentoring people, aren't you? You have a challenge that we're going to point people to at the end. But I just love that you said, hey, I need help, and I'm gonna go get help. So what were the top points that you think helped you turn your content strategy around?
Okay. Here's the first one. It's not about you. It's about the people you want to serve. So we may be deceived by our personal Facebook journeys. We see the people we went to school with, and they're showing pictures of their children and their vacations. And we're like, oh, okay, well, that's what we do on social media. Well, those people, we care about that because we care about them. We connected at some place, church, school, in our neighborhood, we connected with them. And so we care about the stuff around them. But for people who've never connected with you, they don't have a reason to care about you. So how in the world are you supposed to get all these followers if you're not creating content that has value for these people who've never met you?
I love it. We
have to have a principle. View yourself as a guide, and you're a guide that's going to help the hero, the person that's your avatar, the person that you wish to serve and have join your community. You're this guide who's going to help them have a transformation, a wonderful experience, teach them something, entertain them, help them have inspiration. Whatever it is that you're going to give, you, this guide, you're going to serve them in this way. And by them knowing that consistently you're going to provide value to them, you're going to help solve their problems. You're going to help them be inspired when they're depressed or they're having anxiety and they're frustrated and they don't know why stuff isn't working. You, as the guide, you're going to do all these wonderful things. And in return, they'll be willing to follow your account. They'll be willing to become part of your community because you're providing value for them. And then that next step that you mentioned is then you want to give them something of value in order for them to give you their direct contact, their email, their cell phone number, so that you can start a relationship, so that even if Facebook goes away or Instagram goes away or TikTok goes away for some reason, you still have contact with them because you have their cell phone number, because you have their email address, and you have them on a list where you can continue the relationship even if these social media platforms go away.
Okay, so for people who are watching, number one, people who are just joining us, number one, how to really kick your content strategy to the next level this year. Number one, it's not about you. It's about the people you serve. Number two, provide value. How can you provide value to them? I really love that, because when I started to learn about speaking and becoming a better speaker and to serve from stage, one of the things that I was taught was, it's not about you. Get out of your own head and stop worrying about, oh, I don't want to say too many times, and I don't want to say I'm gonna forget about all of that. Don't think about that. Think about, how am I gonna help the people looking at me? And that really just, anchored me. It was something I hold on to every time I have the opportunity to go up stage, because I just think, how can I help the people looking at me? Don't worry about me. How can I help them? So provide value. And number three, provide so much value that they want to give you their email to say, hey, let's take this off social media. Hey, so I have a couple of that, and I'm sure you do. And your challenge is something like that, where you're like, hey guys, if you're liking my content so far and you want to do more, you want to know more, why don't you come join me at my challenge? You know, if you can create something and invite people to that, that's gold. And it could be an hour event. I mean, we're artists, so your concert is a great way to start. But people just need to be bold enough to make that ask. Don't just say, hey, I'm gonna go live on Facebook. Take it off Facebook. I mean, it's great value. They know you show up already. You know, just ask them for their email and say, hey, I'm gonna be doing a concert. It might be a virtual concert, but it's gonna be on Zoom, you know, away from social media. If you want the details, sign up here, and they give you your email, and voila, right? And then you can start thinking about more ways to serve them, right? Do you want to tell us more about how you know what? I don't want to forget to get to how you got to 1.2 million. I really want us to get there.
You want
because
that?
I'm sure it wasn't easy.
Okay, sure.
But before we get there, can you tell us more about how we get them off social media, but also how we monetize and how we build that know, like, and trust factor, so people can begin to say, hey, I can pay you for your services. I'm happy to.
Sure. Okay. So think about the first step that I have my students do is get clarity. Why is it important to get clarity? Well, let me tell a story and then maybe it'll make sense. There was a group called To the Extreme, and I believe they were a harder rock, maybe heavy metal group. But they had this one song, More Than Words Can Say, that was this beautiful ballad with just acoustic guitar and the two lead singers singing in harmony. It was just so beautiful, and people would use it for weddings. Oh, more than words can say. It was beautiful. You know, we're both musicians. It was just beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. I think I know the one you're talking about, and I'm hearing it in my head.
Yes. But why was that the death of their career? Why was that the death of their career when they created something so beautiful? And I think it had 7 million sales. Well, it was the death of their career because that's not what they did. They were like, that's what they did. This sweet little more than, oh, that wasn't what they did. And so they became popular for something that was not aligned with the value that they bring to the marketplace. So if you're not clear about the value that you bring and who it is you serve, you can start chasing trends. You can desire to go viral and gain followers. But if you don't know who it is that you need to serve, then you won't get the right people following you, and you'll just do things because they're trending. And that's why I think it's so important for us to start with getting clear on who we are, who we're going to serve, what's the problem that they have that we're going to fix. So getting clear on that value connection, and then you'll know what content to create. You'll create content related to problems they have. What's a problem that's painful enough to keep them up at night? One time I created a post, and I went to a conference with Brendan Burchard, and he was giving us principles of being a good life coach. And then he gave us this assignment: go live and tell people why you think coaching is so important. And so I did the assignment. And while I was doing the assignment, I told the story of when I was teaching middle school, and by the afternoon, my feet would swell and they would hurt so much. And I was hoping to have a different way of life and not have my feet swell. And in under an hour, someone reached out to me and they were interested in my coaching. And I asked them, wow, this was so quick. What caused you to reach out? And they said, well, when you talked about your feet swelling, my feet are swollen and I understand the pain. And so I was interested. So it didn't have anything to do with life coaching per se. It had to do with something that resonated with them. It was the pain point that he was experiencing that caused him to reach out to me. When you create content aligned with the pain points of the people you wish to serve, they will become followers. And when you create something, let's say that you create an ebook, doesn't have to be too big, that specifically deals with how to solve one problem or one aspect of one problem, but you go in detail so that after they go through your ebook, they know how to solve the problem. And you offer that in exchange for their email address or their cell phone number. That's the way that you start to build this email list that allows people to move off of social media and into a private relationship with you.
Yes, absolutely. That is so true. Clarity. And I love your story about how you went live. And again, it's a coach. There's a reason why we coaches say what we say to do. There's a clear reason, and you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this, or I'm just gonna do it anyways. But you got to you. Oh, I'm really hoping. Oh,
Hi.
I'm so sorry. And we're back. We're back. Okay. Am I frozen again? Oh no. Did I freeze? I think I froze again.
You did, but you're back. Oh, it's frozen again. I think I heard you. Are you back? All right.
Okay, we're back.
Okay.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Well, this is a great conversation. It's not going very well. All right. We're going to start to round up now. I think you've helped me. Those are great things to starting points to have. Before we give people details on your challenge, I would love to know some of the things you had to overcome to reach 1.2 million followers.
Okay,
and Lord, let's not freeze.
Yes. Okay. So here's the summary one that I think will share really with everyone what the secret is for making it through. How many days can you do the same thing without seeing results before you quit? On day 57, if you haven't seen any progress, will you give up? But what happens if on day 63, you'll have your first video that goes viral and gets 1 million views? That to me is the essence of what it takes to become great on social media. You have to make a commitment to yourself about what you're going to do, that you're going to pursue it with singular focus. Get rid of distractions. I recommend first learning one platform. Then after you get the hang of it, apply what you've learned on that platform to another platform, making concessions for the different culture of the other platform. Case in point, TikTok, you can post 8-10 times a day if you want to. But on Instagram, unless you have a reason for the extra posts, people get annoyed if you post too often. So it seems with the younger people who are on TikTok, they don't mind you posting a lot, especially if your stuff is entertaining. But as we get into Instagram, people, they're okay if they see you a couple times a day, but beyond that, they get annoyed. So the sweet spot is only posting a couple times a day, unless, of course, you're taking advantage of, say, stories. Stories doesn't go to new people. It only goes to people who follow you. And you can post behind the scenes, you can post 5, 10 images or video clips in stories. Just remember, the skillful thing to do is every 3 or 4, every 5, make sure that you have a call to action for whatever your offer is. And nowadays they have a sticker called Link that you can use and put on the story so the person can just click the story and go directly to your offer. So you can have a bunch of items in your stories, but as far as like a post or your reels, you should keep those to a couple a day, maybe 3. I can do more than that, and that's just because people are expecting a morning prayer from me and a bedtime prayer from me every day. So those, because they have a role, right? Then what I do in between is kind of like a fresh slate. I can do 1 or 2 things in between, and it's okay.
Wow, lovely, lovely. Okay, so that just gave me a lot. That gave me ideas. I don't know about you guys watching or you guys listening at a later stage, but I'm inspired already to just try different things. So I'm pretty sure people are like, okay, this sounds interesting. I feel like there's a lot I can learn from this person. How can I learn more, David? So how can people learn more from you?
I would like to invite people to join CCA Relaunch. CCA, that stands for Content Creating Academy, relaunch.com. There's a nice video there that explains to you about our community and all the things about social media that you'll learn. But what's special about our community is this. When I started it, originally, we just focused in on learning how to do social media content from the principles that I learned on my journey. But I realized after a couple years of helping people that people actually need help building a digital ecosystem. So kind of the questions you've been asking today. So we start off making sure that you have the nuts and bolts of creating engaging content and growing, but realizing this is not the ultimate end. Your goal is the ultimate end. And if your goal is, say, building an audience for yourself as a musician or serving people and teaching them something, well, then you need to learn how to create a lead magnet, grow an email list. You need to know how to make offers. And so we teach that inside our community. It's a 12-week curriculum, but most people stay 6 months to a year.
Lovely. Okay. And do you have a website for it? Do you have?
Yes. Literally, if you go to ccarelaunch.com, then you can go there and you can watch the VSL and you can look at the information there. It'll explain things. And that's, I'm sharing that one because I think for your audience and the questions that you shared with me today, that would be the best offer to share.
Well, thank you so much for this, David. This has been invaluable. I am also going to put the link to the challenge and to the academy in the description. So guys, just look in the descriptions below. And yeah, thank you all so much for joining and watching, and see you again on another episode of the Monetize Your Music podcast. Thank you. Bye for now. Ooh. This is not going very well.
Oh no.
There is something in the way of end stream.
Thanks for listening to the Fulfilled Musicpreneur podcast. Make sure to subscribe and leave a 5-star review. Also, if you haven't, download a free copy of AB's ebook, 7 Days to Living Fearless, by clicking the link below. See you next time for another episode of the Fulfilled Musicpreneur podcast.